Okay, here we are, a week in to this mod so far. These are the boots I'm wearing. As you can see, see where the nose of the boot's all caved in. Basically, that's because I've been reaching for. That's where the boot sits. So I've been having to reach forward, or put my toe right under to try and hit that to actually change up gear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this bar down and create a new bar up here. So I'm going to have like a, instead of a toe heel shifter, I'm going to have a toe shifter, if that makes any sense, but I'll sort of explain it in a minute. What else? What I have learnt this week is basically if you do this up too tight, it's got to be nice and slack, you will lose gear, so you won't be able to select gear very well. So during the week I've had to go up, I've had to tap it down first and just bang it up to get into gear, and to go down a gear I've had to bang it up first, then bang it down to select gear. And first off, I thought maybe the spring. There's a spring set down here inside. You probably can't see it off the selector bar, like a return spring, and I thought maybe that's snapped or something's damaged in there. But it turned out no, it was this. I had this, even though it was loose, and I actually had it loose in this even during the week, but it wasn't loose enough, and it was basically snagging here, and it wouldn't bounce around like it should do. So if you're ever riding your bike and you can't get gear very well, check your clutch first, because your clutch might be dragging, not coming off fully, and that could hurt your gear selection. But check this, make sure this is really nice and freely, so it bounces when it goes into gear. It sort of bounces back into like a neutral position, not neutral gear position, but a neutral position for the arm, if that makes sense. Right, been very pleased with it. This is now very comfortable. The other side, I'm literally, now that I'm conscious of it, my foot's more or less hanging on. So this is very comfortable. This is not very comfortable. So I found this in my box of bits. I bought it as part of a set years ago for another project which I never used. So I'm basically going to mount it, not on the cardboard, but on a piece of metal up about here. So with my boot on, my boot is very comfortable about there. Okay, so I've just dropped the gear selector a little bit, so I can easily reach it to push it, and then this bar here will sit about here, or about here somewhere, over the actual that toe part of the boot where it's supposed to sit. So, because obviously riding in London, I'm up and down the gearbox all the time. So this will make changing gear a lot easier. So that's the plan so far. Let's just get rid of that boot a second. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of cardboard which I've just dropped on the floor, and that will sit about there. Okay. So if you look straight on, it's sort of, I don't know if it makes any sense, but that sort of covers if I bend that down, it's, you can actually see that covers the hole where I've sort of marked it. So what I'm going to do is that's going to be welded. So I need to cut a piece of metal out to that, and then weld it onto this arm here from the back. So I'll have two nice. I'm not going to butt it. I'm going to run it cross it over at the back. So I'll have nice strong welds, 4 nice strong welds, because I don't want that snapping off. And also what I'm going to do, I'm going to straighten this bar out. So originally this bar was, I think it was a lot straighter, and I sort of bent it, heated it up and bent it out of the way, so it wouldn't, for the last setup I did. So with the boot on, you see how far away that is. I mean, I could just, because then I'm just there and I'm free to move my foot, which isn't too bad. So I might just leave it, because when I was riding the bike this week in and out, I had no problem selecting, well, apart from what I just explained. When I did loosen it off, I had sort of no problem going down gear. So maybe just reaching in a little bit like that and hitting the gear, and then coming back to this neutral position. Gives you, and then if I want to have a stretch out, just move my toe a little bit over to the left, and I can swing around for all it was. So I don't know if I just straighten it out or leave it, or just weld it up now and then, maybe, because the bend is actually down now, so I could just weld it all up, see how I go, and then if I need to bend it, heat it and bend it later. So I might do that actually. Right, so that's it for now. I want to get this side done so I can then move on to the other side. So that's where we're at. Right, here, this is what it looks like welded up. Don't judge my welding too much, I'm not a welder, so I've just done the best I can. The front came out really bad, and then because basically I've not used a welder for a couple of years, and it was all spitting all over the place, but I went over it again. So that's that side there, and then the back side. So I'll just kind of rough clean down. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put it up on the bike, pull off the cardboard and see what it looks like. Right, so I've sort of established that comfortable was there, and that's very loose at the moment, but that looks like it's good because it gives me a little bit of leeway, and plus I can turn my foot out this way a bit. I'll have to just see how it goes, really, to be honest with you. I've got some adjustment on this bar here because it's about midways at the moment. Well, I think it's about midway, so I can move this, I can adjust it a bit, but I did establish earlier that that was comfortable for me, so I'll have to just try it out. But now that top peg is actually in the right place, so should be good. I might just put the boot on, lower the bike down, have a go. Onto the other side. I'm just trying it out, I'm just knocking it from first back into neutral, really, so I can adjust. Let's move my foot into the right position. My foot's there, so it's just a case of that's working. I know the arm's really loose at the moment, but it's you know, I've got some leeway there. That's good. That's and when I'm out on the road, I can adjust it so using the bar underneath. So it should work out quite well. Yeah, it's working quite well. The only thing I would say is that that push down bar could do with being a little bit lower, not lower, but nearer down that way. But I suppose the proof's actually in the riding, isn't it? And actually tweaking it that way. But yeah, so far very pleased, very pleased. That's good. Right, so the plan for this side, obviously that bracket, I've just taken the front part, so that bracket is now loose. This main bracket, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off here, so this whole lump of metal will just come away, because I don't need it anymore. The peg's never going to go back where it is, so this arm's got to come off first, and then I can take this off and have a look. I might just go for a simple plate fix on the mount there, or I might continue to plate down around and pick up this bolt down here. But I'll see. This might be enough, and then if it's not enough in the future, I might be able to weld an arm on or something and attach it down there, but we'll see. Alright, it's the morning after, the night before, and now it's time to reassemble everything. What I've done is I painted all the bits and pieces overnight. Very quick coat of paint just to get things sealed up, and then it's a case of putting all this chaos back together. See you in a minute. Right, job complete. I've just measured the pegs from one side of the bike to the other, and one side is 25mm an inch higher than the other side. But I've sat on the bike and it's very comfortable. It's much better than it was. I didn't even measure the old pegs the way I had it, but 25mm is fine. I think the bike is fairly level on this stand, so I'm taking it as right. Obviously pegs look very level as well, so it's all good. My main worry was about this brake pedal, was I able to have it up high enough. But I've sat on the bike and that is up, it's as high as it can go, and my boot is about there, so it's nice and comfortable, so it is quite usable. On this one here, I've basically bolted this one through, but the lower one I've actually tapped it through this plate and the bottom plate, so it's actually screwing through 2 plates there. If I wanted to, I can't really move this up any higher. If I moved it, well, I probably could, but it would mean it could mean interfering. I mean, I'll probably have to weld something on here, and it's getting very close to the exhaust pipe, so I'm